This channel is for anyone who wants to start their own events venue and you want to see what the journey is like, because I'm going to be documenting all of it so you guys can see our journey. You will see our trials, you'll see our failures, so that you might avoid the pitfalls that await you should you decide that this particular business is for you. The other group of people that this will benefit is the same type of person who would watch a reality show. If you kind of want to see what this journey is like for us, it's going to be quite interesting. And I will reveal just about everything to you, including some things that are probably more personal than business, but I think they have a lot to do with this. I would love it if you guys would subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. You can find us on all platforms: Evergreens at Villa Rica, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow us, follow our journey. We'll greatly appreciate it. My name is Stefan. My wife's name is Zola. And our venue is called the Evergreens at Villa Rica. Pretty amazing. We were super excited. Now here's the best part. We don't have it yet. So this is something that just kind of like totally came from left field. And we were inspired by initially our own wedding about 9-10 months ago now. We were inspired because the wedding bars in Naples, Florida came through and delivered an amazing event for us. And it was done all within a week and a half, because the initial plan was to get married at home. The initial plan was to just do everything in our own backyard. We have a nice place and we wanted to just do everything there. And we were gonna rent out a tent, but it was hurricane season because this was in September in Florida. So things just started to unravel and we got a little worried. We decided at the last minute we need to switch this thing up and just have the venue, find an indoor venue instead. We walk in and we're blown away, because we really weren't thinking barn, other than Dwight Schrute, who got married in a barn. For real. I didn't know anyone. Every affair, everything that I've been to has been, something kind of like, at one of these places that you would expect to be sophisticated. And I never thought rustic barn, even though it's been around for a while. I just hadn't been exposed to it. So I get there and it's like, we're blown away. We see the place, we fall in love with it. And our wedding was phenomenal. So unbeknownst to me, wifey goes ahead and she files this in her data bank, in that big brain of hers, and just kind of sat on it. It's now May 2023, about 8-9 months later, and we go to Georgia, my son and daughter's graduation. It's Thursday, we arrive, we get to Georgia. We went through Decatur and North Decatur, which is a beautiful, beautiful part of Atlanta. You have a lot of individuality, you have a lot of architecture. What Zola fell in love with is something that I had taken for granted, having lived in Atlanta for 6 years. It's like you're living on rolling hills when you're in Georgia. I mean, you have crazy elevation, then you come up to this hill on the street, and then boom, it's like a roller coaster. And then so you don't think about it, because when you live there, you just don't think about any of that stuff. You kind of take it for granted. She's seen all of this and she's like, man, this is beautiful. This reminds me of the islands, Jamaica in particular. And she's just falling in love with it. The more she's looking, the more she's falling in love with it. We get to Dallas, Georgia, where the rest of the family was staying at their Airbnb because they were smart, and they decided not to stay in downtown Atlanta. Plus it was cheaper. We get there, and again, same thing. She's kind of like enjoying the scenery. She's enjoying like the kind of rural, suburban, but mostly rural type of environment. Next day, it's Friday, same thing. We took a different route this time. And again, she saw some farms, cows, rolling hills, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Atlanta, all surrounding areas in Atlanta. We went to eat. It did not hurt our case that we went to a spot called Miss Icy's, which happened to be a Jamaican spot. The food was excellent. So now it's Friday night. Graduation's already happened, and the entire time like a dog with a bone. All my wife is doing is she's on her phone and she's doing this, and people think she's being antisocial, and it's not that at all. She's deep in research. She's not just one for hopes and dreams, and she's looking at places, she's looking at wedding venues, she's looking at the market, she's doing market analysis, she's looking at so many different things. And this is way before we even looked at anywhere, right? So we ended up looking at the place the very next morning. That Saturday morning, we looked at a place in Dallas, so Dallas, Georgia. And the issue there was it had the place itself, the house. Picture this, you have a house here that's right there, and it's absolutely beautiful. Everything was great about the house. There's a lake right across from it. Beautiful. We have access to the lake. We own a third of the lake or whatever, or we would. And on this side, you have about 7 acres of just land. It needs to be cleared out if we're going to build something there, or maybe we can just kind of like still leave kind of a trail, a path. Don't take away all the trees and just build our barn there. But the issue is there's a house right there that shares this driveway. So we have this long dirt, gravel / type driveway, and there's a house that shares it. So my mind went to, man, listen, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And that's not being pessimistic. I just had to really think about, you want to give these people who are renting your place a very special day. Things will go wrong. You want to minimize the possibilities. And having a reception going on here while these guys are out partying and having 10 to 15 cars go up and down the driveway may not be the best thing. We can't control who's coming on the property. We can't guarantee anybody's safety. All these things are just issues. And because one of the key differentiators for us is that we want to provide lodging as well. We don't want a couple to come in and rent our venue and stress about having to commute there on the day of. If they want to stay the night before, then we want to extend our home to them. And we'd like them to feel comfortable and feel safe and not feel like, hey, we don't know why this guy is driving down in front of the house 3 or 4 times because he's going for a couple of beer runs. You know, I don't know. Like, these are things that we'd like to avoid. You know, once you get on our land, it's safe. No one is sharing that with you other than ourselves if we decide to stay there, or our staff. We ended up not pulling the trigger, even though we kind of really fell in love with the house. So at this time, we're back in Florida. Again, I want to tell you that this journey is going to be amazing. Good, bad, and the ugly. I'll share it all with you. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you are checking us out. Whether, again, you want to learn so you know which pitfalls to avoid and you know what you can expect, or if you're just curious, and we would love to invite you on the journey nevertheless. It's not going to be easy, man, but we'll share everything with you guys. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Take care.